Yeah, so far so good.
You want to smell? No, he says no.
I don't know how I always get in these tight spaces when I'm trying to do this stuff. Alright, so you can see the bare kitchen. We have all the cabinets ripped out and the appliances. The electrical is roughed in, and so is the plumbing. So that's going to be our kitchen sink and our dishwasher. Look at it sparkle. About 1960.
Good grief.
Alright, so it's the next day, and there's still more tile to rip out. I got myself a smaller sledge and a bigger pry bar. Hopefully this job will go a lot faster. And here it is, all done. You can see the linoleum underneath, and beneath that are the original hardwood floors. Unfortunately, they're not salvageable.
We are still dealing with a smell issue in the house, and we're not exactly sure where the smell's coming from. So we're taking pieces of the house out into the yard and then smelling them to see where the source is. Now, Hal took out the dining room ceiling, put it in the dumpster, and it stunk. So we know that that was a definite source of smell. This is from upstairs, and I'm about to smell it, and fingers crossed that it doesn't stink, because we really don't want to take that whole ceiling down. I don't smell anything. You want to smell? No, he says no. All right.
I'm wearing my mask, I can't smell anything.
Oh yeah. This ceiling is good.
Okay, so we're moving on to another project. You saw us fix a plaster hole on the other side of this wall, and we've noticed that there's still some kind of a funky smell in here now that we're not wearing respirators all the time. And we already cleaned out the closet. There was fur coats and hats and things in there, but it still kind of smells. So I'm gonna go ahead and paint it with Kills to try and help that smell. So let's get into that. Just a simple little paint. I was just gonna paint this, and then I had to go and poke it. And well, I'm gonna need more than this today, because it's never that easy, is it? So now I have another nice big patch in an awkward spot. Can't just leave well enough alone. I don't even want to know what's behind that one. So I took this piece out of the wall. You can see it was somebody's patch that they made. Alright, so the hole's been growing. Trying to get to a stopping point where I can put some screws in to hold the plaster that's blown out. And then I will decide whether to fill it with drywall or try and just mix a little mud and put it in there the way it was. We'll see what happens. All right, I'm gonna use this Quikrete Mason mix as my scratch coat. And there we go, all concreted in. Once that dries, I'm going to put plaster over it. And I will scratch it up first, it's still a little damp. Let it dry out just a little bit more, then I'll put the scratches in it. And then a few days from now, I'll come back and put the plaster over it. All right, let's see if these screws and the adhesive I put behind it is gonna hold. Looks pretty good. Time to mix some plaster. I don't know how I always get in these tight spaces when I'm trying to do this stuff. I think I'm going to go with the trowel, mix up a little bit more. Alright, I'm just layering it on. More coats, just a little at a time. Since I'm working in such a tight space, I can't even really fit a bucket in here or anything. So, just trying to do a little at a time. Alright, so I think that's going to be it for the plaster right now. I'm going to let it dry and then I have to sand it. As you can see, it's not super smooth. So there's going to be a lot of sanding on this one. But then once I've sanded it all down, then I can put another, like a skim coat across it, try and even it all out. Okay, so these are the shelves that I pulled out of the closet. You can see that they're pretty gross. Gonna sand them, prime them, paint them, put them back. Alright, gonna let that set up and I'm gonna go finish painting the closet. Got the closet primed. Gonna put in a shelf and I'll show you the final coat of that hole that I just patched. Burned.
Great.
I need an LED in there for sure. Yeah, so it's still a little rough, but I'll come back over and texture it. You can see I was kind of experimenting with a little bit of texture up here to finish blending it in. But overall, it's a lot flatter than it was when it was blown out. And it smells better in here.